Drusilla Gobblestone's adventure at a strange school in Blessing Hollow starts on a very gray day in May. After a harsh, delousing shower, despite having no lice, she's thrown into a whirlwind tour of her strange, magical new school. The mysterious BE classroom is a cave-like wonderland. The enchantment room has a casual python slithering around. And the necromancer study hall is pure chaos, with oozing pink creatures racing across the floor. But Nurse Mooney, grumpy, gloved, and full of rules, shuts that fun down quickly. Stay out of the ballroom, it spins. Stay out of the museum, Tatty lurks there. And for the love of magic, never go through the door to fatalism, Mooney warns ominously. When Drusilla is finally shown her tiny, cold dorm room carved into the cliffs, she realizes this school isn't just odd, it's unfriendly. Even lunch is weird. Instead of roast chicken, she gets a green, jiggly mystery meal and is forced to sit at the partless potions table, a misfit group of girls refusing to use animal parts and spells. Here she meets Zelda and Pauline, one fiery, one intellectual, both outcasts like herself. But something far more sinister is happening at Blessings Hollow. Students from their group keep disappearing without a trace. The headmistress claims they've been sent abroad, but Pauline isn't buying it. Then there's Bridget Dane, the mean girl in purple robes, who taunts Drusilla for being an orphan, mocks her fiery red hair, and tries to snatch her locket. But when Drusilla opens her mouth to diffuse the tension, instead of a joke, a terrifying battle cry bursts out. I will make gravy from the soup of my enemy's bones and drink it from a golden chalice. Silence, shock, even Pauline looks satisfied. What exactly is going on? What's happening to the missing girls? And why does Drusilla suddenly feel like she belongs here, after all? One thing is certain. This mystical, treacherous, and dark school is hiding more secrets than spells. Good evening, XJ93. How are you feeling? I just look at you really good. Do you know where you are right now, XJ93? Are you feeling okay, XJ93? That's right. That is exactly where you are. Just working on your interface here a little bit. Just had to take some readings. things here. Just gonna gently touch your face. Tell me if anything hurts. Just gentle touch. Does that feel okay? That's correct. You are aboard the Celestius Gloriana. I am Admiral Julie Ann Magellan. Julie to all my droids. Just gently touching you. Tell me if anything hurts. You are currently in stasis dock 2. We'll be conducting a cranial integrity scan. Just going to type up some notes here. That all looked really good to me. Just conducting this cranial integrity scan. Do you know why? I'm conducting a cranial integrity scan to ensure full neural stability. I had to remove. Now, please don't freak out. But I had to remove your native core processor. Remember, I said not to freak out. Just tell me if any of this hurts. I'm going to go ahead and get some gloves on here so I can work on you a little bit. I had to do it. I had to remove your native core processor. Let me know as I tap you if any of this hurts. Or if you even feel it at all. How are you functioning? That is a good question. I'm sorry that I had to remove your core processor. The engine was making that horrible thunking noise again. How's this feel? Does not hurt at all. Does not hurt. So I'm just of your native core processor, the engine was making that loud clanking noise. I had to install your core processor into the flux capacitor. Otherwise, the airship would have fallen from the sky, and you don't need me to tell you what that would have meant. Do you feel this? Can you feel that when I touch you there? Very good, very, very good, very good. Just gonna look at you a little bit with my gloves on. I think you may have picked up some arsenic the last planet we were on. No, don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. It's just there's nothing I can do to get rid of them. I brush your face. How does that feel? Does it feel alright? Just have you have a Yes, so as you know, if I hadn't swapped out the core processors and put yours into the flux capacitor, we would have dropped like a stone through the universe. We wouldn't want that, would we? But I have given you another core processor, and I gave you some new eyeballs as well. Eyeballs. Yours were getting so old. I understand that was your core. I understand that was your core processor. And you have to know that I am sorry. It's all for the cause, my dear. We can't be just dropping like a stone through the universe. Not to worry, I scrapped that robot there, and you have his somewhat stable core processor inside of you now. I'm just checking you out. Yeah, I put a semi-stable core processor from that guy into you. Well, it depends on your point of view. I wouldn't exactly go so far as to say that you're damaged, but that is why we are now going to give you a cranial exam to make sure that you are okay. Will I be scrapping you someday? I mean, probably not. Anyway, I do need to run some tests on you. You're just waking up with your new parts in. Oh, you're not like Frankenstein. How do you even know about Frankenstein? You have access to everything in Earth's library. Okay. Gently pat your face. I'm just going to ask you now to please remain in standby mode. I'm going to begin with some basic sensory calibration. I just want to look at you a little bit better. Just a little Can you feel that? You feel kind of numb a little bit? Okay, I think that will get better over time. So again, I'm just going to come in and look up at you really close here. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start with some olfactory tests. Oh, let me just brush that really quickly right there. I do have all these beautiful little vials for the olfactory test. Let me just prepare them and get them ready. This one. Okay, so I am just going to put this under your olfactory senses, and then we're going to test those, make sure your sense of smell is fine with this new core processor in you. Just gonna wave this under your nose, XJ93. Okay, just gonna wave this right under your nose. And I want you to take your time and tell me what you smell. What do you think that is? Just take your time. Yeah, you are a little bit slower with this new processor. Not sure. Do you want to try that again? Okay, let's try that again. I'm just gonna give you a little teeny tiny sniff. There you go. What do you think? I think it is. Go ahead and take your time. Are you processing? You're processing all that, okay? Good. Yeah, you should be able to detect what that is. Okay, uploaded the scent. That's exactly right. Florian 3. Very good. Just look at your olfactory senses there. Just gonna go ahead and type that into the computer here. And then I'm gonna test you with another scent. Okay, let's go ahead and try this one. Can you just tell me what you smell when I open this one? What do you think it is? Ethereal vapor, that's right. write a few notes for myself if you don't mind. So I would say, guess what I've written down here is that your olfactory senses appear stable. So let's proceed. That's very good. Very
good. Excuse me, Julie, but our guest is about to go to sleep. He's requesting that you read a chapter from the book.
Okay, Kevin. I'll be right there. Okay, I need to power you down. I'll be back later to do the rest of your exam, but I need to go help our guest fall asleep. So I'm just gonna power you down. So are you enjoying your new room? We moved you to a larger room which has a great view of Gleece out your window. We're going to be staying here a while. I'm letting the light that's being reflected off Gleece charge my solar batteries. How about a cup of tea? Kevin brought some tea. No, you just want me to go ahead and read the story? Alright, here we go. Drusilla Gobblestone. I'll go back a little bit, shall I? She didn't want to be late, not to her first magical class ever. Drusilla sputtered to herself as she hurried down the corridor. Must hurry, must not be late. It wasn't long until she found the correct doorway. Someone had scrawled the letters 225 in red wax across the door, and the sticky substance had dripped in streaks. She opened the door a crack and was surprised to find a space no larger than a broom closet. Come in, called the voice of an older woman. Drusilla hesitated. Could this be one of the women she had overheard in Nurse Mooney's office? Come in, dear. Come in. Her eyes sought the woman's face, but the room was dim, lit only by a couple of gas lamps on each side of the wall. Ouch, called a voice nearby. Drusilla had stepped on someone's foot. I'm terribly sorry. So tight in here, there's barely any room. That's okay, Drew. May I call you Drew? Came Zelda's cheerful reply. No harm, no foul. It took a few seconds before her eyes focused. Presiding over the class was a teacher dressed in traditional witch robes, complete with pointed hat. The woman must have been in her 80s, judging by her wrinkles and gray hair. Good afternoon, dear. I am Professor Emeritus Medusa Middleborough. You are my new girl, my new partless potion maker. I am, Drusilla said before glancing at Pauline. It was just the four of them in here. Drusilla's eyes darted to the scratched-up cooking pots. They sat atop pot plates on a makeshift table. Good. May I introduce you to brewing elixirs, or B.E. cackled Middleborough. As Pauline and Zelda already know, elixirs covers a wide range of items, such as hair tonics, snake oils, and of course, magic potions. And because there are so few of you, we've been allotted this lovely space. Ouch! You just struck me in the nose, Professor, Pauline cried out. Sorry, dear. Not to worry.
I'm sure it won't bruise. Gather round,
Middleborough said. Nobody moved an inch. They were already shoulder to shoulder.
We shall be making a fine elixir today. We've been having some problems, haven't we, dears? Going veg has made it harder to get a good brew. It's hard to find suitable substitutes for animal parts. Although I found a very old witching pamphlet written by a warlock of all people. It's called Alicia's Phlebotomy's Guide to Plant-Based Anti-Paralysis Potions. And it contains a lengthy recipe that I thought we would try. Please switch on your hot plate.
It was unfulfilling to switch on a hot plate when one was in the mood for a copper vat over a gleaming stove, and Drusilla bumped elbows with Zelda as she moved.
Be a little bit difficult because we're not going to be able to use tongue of gecko today. And it's really hard to make an anti-paralysis potion without tongue of gecko. But we shall be substituting some other items. Poison ivy, for instance.
Despite Middleborough's proclamation to the contrary,
Pauline's nose was turning ever darker shades of purple that Drusilla could see even in the dim light.
You know, Professor, we aren't allowed to brew dark elixirs in 5th grade. I'm sure anything that has to do with paralysis is a dark potion.
Pauline complained in a nasally voice.
It's an anti-paralysis potion. Are you deaf? Are you deaf, dear?
Middleborough put an emphasis on the word anti.
And maybe you're not allowed to do so in regular elixir making class. Maybe not over there in room 223 with Professor Cadelia Nip in the fancy smancy BE room where they make frou elixirs that will make their hair shiny and teeth glossy. Or is it hair slimy and teeth mossy? I can't remember. Now pay attention. This potion has over 5,000 steps to it, all of which must be done in the correct order. Adding an ingredient incorrectly and the whole thing becomes a ticking time bomb that will blow us all to smithereens.
Burrow's siren to interpretation of the castle being blown up. Drusilla covered her ears.
Yes, like that. Very nasty. So remember, safety first.
Middleborough cooed in a soft voice.
Today we begin, but the potions are unstable at room temperature. I'll have to take them down to the kitchen and store them in the fridge in between classes. Not to worry, I've been experimenting with the potion all summer, and Chef Natalia is quite used to finding my jars stuck in her refrigerator. She won't mind a few more. Come on then, don't stand there looking dumb. Use the knives provided to macerate those tiny mushrooms. We're using them instead of cow livers, so we're going to need a lot.
The hour passed quickly. Despite working diligently, Drusilla produced little more than a sticky salve in the bottom of a beat-up pot. Although it didn't look like much, Middleborough seemed excited as she carefully poured the substance into a mason jar and screwed out a metal lid with such delicate movements it was as if she were dealing with a powder keg. By now, the hot plates were rendering the closet stifling, and despite the threat of imminent peril from an exploding elixir, Drusilla began to feel sleepy. She grew so tired that she had a hard time staying awake in her next class. Gustonio Gavant's specialty was spycraft. Nobody moved around colonial America without her knowing about it, said another young teacher who introduced herself as Jacobia Hastings. In the middle of her lecture, entitled Wily Witches of Williamsburg, the woman's voice droned and Drusilla dozed off. She later awoke to find herself alone in the classroom with the professor staring down at her.
Enjoyed the lecture?
Hastings asked with no trace of a smile. She had sharp features with feline yellow eyes. Over her hair she wore a wimple, like the Catholic nuns at the cathedral in Blessings Hollow. I'm so sorry, Drusilla said, struggling to her feet. She stared at the teacher's wimple.
Oh yes, I'm old school. This is traditional teaching garb. One some of our founders wore, although in more modern times they have fallen by the wayside. Only I and Nephra wear them now. But don't you know you're supposed to be taking notes in class rather than sleeping? My tests aren't difficult. At least that's what my students have been telling me for ages.
I can't take notes. I don't have a notebook or a pencil, Drusilla replied matter-of-factly. The only thing anybody has given me at this school is 3 textbooks and a copy of Huckleberry Finn.
I'll give you some supplies,
Hastings offered.
I'm sure you didn't get a list sent to your orphanage. Oh, do watch out, Birdie swoops low.
Drusilla heard a flapping noise and felt something scaly and sharp like a claw brush the top of her head. An enormous brown bird with a wrinkly pink head had emerged from the classroom closet. It was the ugliest thing Drusilla had ever seen, and it landed on Professor Hastings' outstretched arm with a self-satisfied air.
Oh, Birdie, you're a naughty one.
What kind of a bird is that? Drusilla laughed.
What kind of a bird? Turkey vulture. Had him for decades. He's the great-grandson of a bird I had when I was a child, Birdie the First.
With a dip of her arm, the professor encouraged the animal to fly to a gilded perch. Then Hastings began searching through her desk. It was a massive mahogany thing with engravings depicting the hunt. After rummaging about in the top drawer, the professor produced a notebook full of lined paper and some bright yellow pencils, as well as a thick tome entitled Witches of the New World. Take them, they're yours, said Hastings. But in return, I'd like you to come back tonight after you've had your dinner and take a little test for me. Just a simple thing, really. I hope you don't mind. Drusilla certainly did mind. What kind of school gave a test on a student's second day? Nonetheless, she remembered her commitment to staying positive and gave a forced grin.
My dear, you need to work on your smiling, baring your teeth like that. You look like a mad dog. So about the test, say about 9:30, I'll write you a note that will lie you in the hallway after hours.
I'll see you then. Hastings flashed a smile, and Bertie gave a strange screech that sounded an awful lot like,
Do as she says.
Chapter 6, Witching Nature. The howling wind was at its fiercest as Drusilla made her way to the cafeteria. Dinner that evening was more green gelatin. It was enough to make her reconsider her previous choice of partless potions. She eyed the other tables hungrily. They were piled high with plates of meatloaf, roast lamb, baked potatoes, corn on the cob, coleslaw, and fresh fruit. If we are against eating animals, why can't we have the potatoes and the corn? Drusilla asked. Overhead, a light buzzed loudly. She examined the lamp with a skeptical eye, not because of the noise, but because of the pale pallor it cast across the room. Zelda followed her gaze and informed her that the fluorescent lighting was the latest rage in electricity. A modern miracle, the girl declared. Originally produced by the masterful warlock Tesla, they've electrified many of the main rooms, but not our dormitories. Not sure why every room's not electrified. All the homes in Blessings Hollow have been for years. We're so stuck in the past having to use candlelight for studying. Speaking of rooms, how do you like yours? Pauline asked. Drusilla hesitated. Her room felt like the repurposed broom closet where they had held Partless Potion class. It was sparse, dim, and silent, outfitted only with 2 cots, a wardrobe, and a writing desk. On top of the writing desk was a thin yellow candle that coiled around an iron fixture resembling a beehive. Other than large candelabras and stone niches, there were no lights of any kind on the 13th floor. Even with her door open and her own candle lit, the room was dark. The only thing she liked was the white, lacy crocheted blanket on top of her cot. It matched perfectly the white pillowcase cover that had an embroidered A on it. All in all, however, she would rather be back at Madame Trixie's in a dormitory full of girls. She opened her mouth to reply that the room was depressing and cramped, but noticed Zelda beaming at her. "It's very nice," she lied, remembering her vow to stay positive.
You think so? You used to be Annabelle in Kara's room.
Pauline lifted her eyes from her plate as she spoke. "But at least it's your own room. But that's hard to come by at the orphanage. I'm sure you'll love the privacy." Drusilla registered the insult. Yet another dig about her coming from an orphanage. This time, however, she did not feel angry. She felt annoyed. "Not to worry," said Zelda. "We're in the room right next door, and on the other side of you is Professor Leon. Other than that, the entire floor is empty. Professor Leon, she's a wonderful woman. She's our botany teacher, and she's so beautiful. Isn't that right, Pauline?" It was doubtful that Pauline found anything or anyone beautiful. Like Mooney, she had a perpetual look of reproach on her face. True to character, she ignored Zelda's remark and instead said, "That was quite the show you put on in music class, Drusilla. You need to be careful. The witching community is small, and as far as everyone here is concerned, you're an outsider, which makes you a threat. They're just looking for reasons to eject you from the school. I'd say their desire to reject an outsider is witching nature, but it's more than that. It's human nature." "They seem to want to do more than reject me," Drusilla quipped. "Some of them seem to want to harm me, and everyone acts as if my not having parents is the worst thing in the world." "That's just an easy way to get under your skin," Pauline said. "You're different. They don't know you. Their mother didn't go to school with your mother. Like I said, you're an outsider, and I want to make sure you know it. You need to turn a blind eye."
Not act like a wild creature banging on a piano.
"No, Chippy the Lemur," Zelda interjected. "He can play Flight of the Bumblebee with his feet and his tail."
So I'm not sure your comparison of Drusilla to a wild creature holds up.
Zelda added unhelpfully. Drusilla kissed her annoyance. "I resent being compared to Chippy, who is obviously a masterly musical monkey. Drusilla could play the lute, but not Flight of the Bumblebee. Actually, the idea of Flight of the Bumblebee being played on the medieval instrument made her chuckle to herself. "I don't know what you're so happy about," pontificated Pauline. "You heard what I said. People here think you're a threat." Drusilla nodded slowly. She had felt it from the first minute she had crossed into the main hall of the school. Eyes watching, whispering, measuring her against people she'd never met, measuring her against a legacy she didn't share. What was it Madame Trixie had said to her when her dagger had struck its target from 25 feet away? "Excellent coordination, Drusilla, but don't let it go to your head, and we'll make a leader of you someday." "I doubt that. Other than saying, I really don't have any friends," Drusilla replied. "I'm pretty sure leaders have friends. Here there are just others who whisper about how I am unadoptable. They all talk about me behind my back. Leaders, my dear, are not born from comfort. They are forged in fire," Madame Beatrix said, moving to remove the dagger from the hay-stuffed target. At the time, Madame's words had been hard to understand, but they were making more sense with every hour that passed at Mrs. Morris's school. "Let them think what they want," Drusilla said, voice calm and resolute. "I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to learn." "That's the spirit," said Zelda. "Hey, do you want to come with me to the necromancer study hall, Drew? They've got an enormous radio in there." "Can't," need to return to my room and see if Nurse Mooney has found me a uniform. Then I have homework to do. Drusilla stood up, deposited her tray in a brown bin, and exited the cafeteria. Several minutes later, she arrived at her room, slightly winded from all the climbing of stairs. Unfortunately, Nurse Mooney had not left a uniform. I'm sure she'll be here soon. Drusilla spoke the words out loud to convince herself that everything would be all right. Then she searched for the washroom. A girl with a patch over her eye had told her in French class that every floor had one. She walked the length of the dark hall and found a wooden door with WC printed on it in bronze letters. Inside was a large space that was mostly empty, except for the bathroom fixtures, which were a garish shade of pink. The fixtures looked so out of place that it was like springtime had vomited all over a brown mausoleum. She closed the door behind her and felt a sense of peace. At Trixie's, there had been one dormitory-style bathroom, and although it had been painted with jolly ducks on the walls, it never allowed for much privacy. Maybe Pauline was right. Maybe privacy wasn't so bad. She could imagine herself whiling away time in the tub. For now, she just wanted to wash her hands, so she crossed the floor to the sink. She had touched a lot of questionable things in BE class, including something called heart of palm and another plant that set off spores with every chop of the blade. There was another odd yellow plant that she swore let out a small shriek whenever her knife blade came close to it. Yes, she definitely needed to wash her hands. She turned on the tap and lathered herself with a lavender-scented soap. That's when she heard the cry. Unlike with the yellow plant, this was loud and definite. A shiver ran the entire length of her body. The cry had sounded like a small child, and it was coming from behind the wall.
I'm sorry, it's a bit of a dark story and you're trying to go to sleep. I don't have to go up and pilot the airship tonight because we are just holding in place right here outside Glees while my solar batteries charge up. But we could do a guided visualization. I'll just show you some footage of the universe that we have traversed, and hopefully my words and the footage will help you fall asleep.
Begin now. Begin now. Close your eyes and begin now. Let go. Let go. Let go of the weight of thought. Let go of the weight of time. Let go. Breathe in. Breathe in stillness. Breathe in silence. Breathe in stars. Breathe out. Breathe out tension. Breathe out memory. Breathe out time. You are safe. You are soft. You are floating. Floating. Floating through the quiet of space, through the silence between suns. You are in the year 3045. 3045. Thought is light, and light is thought. Minds drift through galaxies like seeds in solar wind. You are drifting now, drifting now, drifting deeper, drifting wider, drifting into the mystery, the mystery. mystery of the stars, the mystery of time, the mystery of life. Let the mystery carry you. Let it carry you. Let it carry you home. You are aboard a vessel of light, a vessel of light surrounded by darkness. Darkness not of fear, but of wonder, of space, of silence. Let the silence fill you. Let the silence speak. Let the silence speak in starlight. Now listen. Listen not with ears, but with stillness. The stillness between your thoughts. In this stillness, ask, what is the universe hiding? What is it hiding? What is it hiding in dark matter, in black holes, in quasars, in dreams? And now, let go of the question. Let go. Let go. Let the unknown remain unknown. Let the mystery be sacred. Let the mystery be sacred. You are the cosmos. You are the cosmos. You are the cosmos. Breathing stars, breathing silence, breathing eternity. Inhale wonder, exhale knowing, inhale awe, exhale control. You are not here to solve, you are here to feel, you are here to float, you are here to be. Deeper now, drifting deeper, deeper into the rhythm of the universe, the rhythm of breath, the rhythm of stars, the rhythm of now. And as you drift deeper, let the stars become your heartbeat. Let time become soft. Let the edges of your thoughts dissolve. 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 There is no center. There is no end. Only stillness. Only light. Only you. And you are floating. Floating. And now as you float in this sacred space, repeat within yourself, I am still. I am vast. I am wonder. I am still. I am vast. I am wonder. Let these words echo. Let them echo like waves of gravity, like ancient signals crossing time.